Ahead. Tucky, 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 tucky. Do it.
Oh, hello and welcome to Bear Independent. My name is Bear from the internet. There's three giant
gosh.
dogs. The dogs they've run over, they're destroying this place like Sodom and Gomorrah. Justin said, how do I have the talk with the members in my tribe? Well, you know, when a man loves a woman, the two of them come together in holy matrimony, form an everlasting covenant, a bond, if you will.
Let's get it on.
All right, dog, get out of here. Stop it, rat. Go lay down. How do I have the talk with the members in my tribe that have a false sense of security and get scared when the conversation of security and combat arises? They have a year's worth of food per person and 1,000 rounds of ammo, and they think to themselves, this is enough, or I don't think it's going to get that bad, when in fact it can get that bad. There are members of my family that absolutely refuse to believe anything bad will happen because they are wealthy through their jobs. I don't want to fearmonger anyone. I've never believed in scaring someone into something. It's frustrating to say the least, and I don't know what to do. I try to be encouraging and tell them to keep going, keep learning, and I tell them if they need help with any of this that I'm just a phone call away, but they just don't seem to care. What do I do? I am at a loss. Well, Justin, today's your lucky day, my friend.
Yeah, there was a lot more to that question than what you read to me, so.
Oh, I know.
Now I got plugins.
I didn't want to burn 2 minutes of time reading it to you.
Okay.
Remember back in the Squid and Bear days? I just turned the camera on and be like, "What are we talking about?" And then I would read it because I didn't want to pollute what his responses were going to be.
Right.
And so I enjoy that more so now. Like when I'm making content with people, they're like, "What do you want to talk about?" I'm like, "I don't care. Let's just talk." And then whatever happens.
Comes out.
It will be what it will be.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time before we veer back towards community, faith, preparedness, homesteading, reading the Bible.
Yeah, we end up talking about.
These people know what.
Kinda the same
They're not going to be
subjects.
surprised. If I start talking to you about like floral pattern lingerie, you're going to know that like, okay, Barry experienced a TBI. What? Okay, I love you.
Don't be gone too long. It's a school night.
Okay.
By 5 o'clock. 3:30.
Got an hour and a half. Yup. Go on with you. Hey. Wheeze. Call the dogs with you. There you go. Go on. There you go. There you go.
Good job.
The not a toddler anymore, tactical toddler is taking her entourage of beasts with her up to great grandma's house. All right, great video. All right, so what should you do about this? Well, first of all, when they get scared when the conversation of security and combat arises. Should one be prepared to affect security? Yes. Should one have a plan to do combat in SHTF? No. But what if I get acted upon? Okay, well,
It's okay, Wheeze.
it could look something like combat, yeah. But if they have no frame of reference for that, they're not going to quite understand what it is you're talking about. And so what I got out of this when I was reading this, Justin, is why are you not doing scenario-based trainings? What is your TLO? What is your terminal learning objective? What do you want these people to know? Maybe it's I want them to understand the importance of carrying a first aid kit. And I'm not saying that is for you, but we'll just use that example. I want them to understand the importance of carrying a first aid kit. So we're going to get everybody together at the next MAG meeting, and we're going to run a drill, simulated motor vehicle accident, and we're going to put teams of 2 or 3 together, and out there 100 yards away there's a motor vehicle accident. And go! They've got to run over there to that motor vehicle accident, and other members of the MAG are being the crisis actors. They've got a broken leg or brain injury or an impaled object in their chest or whatever, and now your people have to fix the problem and deal with it. Secure the scene, move the casualty, call in CASEVAC, treat the injuries, maintain C-spine, blah, 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 blah. And then you do an AAR afterwards. Oh, I should have had I wish I had insert thing here with me. Yeah, because if you're not carrying it, it doesn't count. Which goes back to, many of y'all have been asking, but Bear, when is it's right here, in T&E. That's the ankle rig. What does it have in it? I'll tell you when it's ready. Okay, but that's the ankle rig. If you don't have it on you, it doesn't count, doesn't matter. My stomp bag that's in my truck 100 yards from here is not nearly as cool as my ankle rig is, because I have my ankle rig. So scenario-based training. Now what you're talking about with security and combat, if you have a bunch of people that don't know what the hell they're doing, can't even hold a firearm safely, keep the firearms at home, go play airsoft. Mm-hmm. Go play airsoft. Shoot, move, communicate, sustain. The shooting part's important. The moving and the communicating parts are way more important. And don't just flip that thing on the full auto and just spray and pray. Like, actually do a little bit of force on force with no live weapons whatsoever. And you should have yourself and maybe one or two other people that know what they're doing act as controllers during this and run some scenarios. Scenario-based training disguised as a fun mag outing. And now we can see who's actually interested in this, who isn't interested. Did something click? Maybe I thought this guy was going to be a great guy for the security team. And it turns out, no, he's great support staff for the security team. Because he's an amateur armorer and he knows all about drone stuff and he's got every tool known to man. And he can work a rifle, but he'd much rather not work a rifle. Okay, now we can start subdividing the people that we've got based upon what interest they have and what previous experience they have, and develop a team or teams within teams of who's actually going to be responsible for what. And so, like, to go play airsoft around us, I think it's $35 for the day. It includes the airsoft gun rental and 1,000 BBs. You bring an MRE for lunch, bring a couple cases of water, it ain't that expensive, and go play airsoft for 4 hours and do some scenario-based training. Whatever, and you determine the TLO, terminal learning objective. What do you want people to take away from this? And then you reverse engineer the training or the scenarios within the training to be able to achieve the TLO. But you don't punch them in the face with the TLO. You want them to come to their own conclusion. Hopefully the conclusion you want them to have. That I should carry a first aid kit with me. That security is important. That I should know at least the bare basics of shoot, move, communicate, sustain. But you don't punch them in the face with it. You build the scenarios in such a way that as they navigate through them, it becomes obvious that they need to, for lack of a better word, they need to see things your way. Because now you have permission to continue to teach them. Does that make sense?
I mean, it does to me.
You done stole it in my phone.
I did. Well, I wanted to read it so I knew what exactly I was going to touch on.
Send it, sweetie.
Number one, I feel like there's maybe two different things going on here. So he talks tribe, or his tribe, and then he also talks his members of family. So are we dealing with two different groups here? But also, just to be the one that pees in everybody's Cheerios, because we've dealt with this. Sometimes, no matter how much you preach, no matter how much you tell, no matter how much you plan, and you try and get people involved, they don't listen. And so these members of your tribe that you think are members of your tribe, they may not be the best members for you to have in your tribe.
That's a good word.
Like, if their priorities aren't in line with your priorities, then they're not going to be a an asset. They could potentially be a liability because they're not wanting to go out and train to do the things.
That goes back to the 4 quarters concept. I'd rather have 4 people that want to be here, 4 quarters, than 100 people that don't, 100 pennies. They're both worth the same amount,
Right.
but 100 pennies is a pain in the ass. I do not value pennies at all. Call me wasteful, but I don't save pennies. I don't pick pennies up. I don't carry them around. None of that. If it ain't a quarter, at a minimum, I don't want it in my pocket.
Yep.
Because it's just not worth the hassle to me. So you'll have people that say they want to do this thing, whatever this thing is, but then when it's time to do this thing, can't or won't
Right.
do
They come
this
up with
thing.
excuses as to why they can't do it. And I think a lot of times too, like pontificating, the world coming to an end and droves of mobs beating down your door, like that can be a little far-fetched for most people's reality.
It's not relatable.
It's not
therefore they
relatable.
don't take it seriously.
So maybe just ask them, what would you do if somebody broke into your house
Yep.
while you're asleep one night?
Yep.
How would you handle that situation? And, well, I would grab my pistol and I would do this, this, and this. Hand him an airsoft gun. Show me.
Yep.
I'm going to be the intruder.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to handle, and,
And you have the added benefit of knowing I'm coming.
right.
Yep. Because where's your pistol?
Exactly. So maybe give them a little bit more realistic of a scenario. You're out shopping at Target. They have money, so I assume they shop at Target as opposed to Walmart. But maybe they're at Target and some Pride Furby decides to shoot up the Target. What are they going to do?
Eliminate the threat, establish the CCP, calling Kazovac, begin triage. Move off the X.
Right.
Call my guys.
Yeah.
Right?
But I'm just saying, like, give them something that's a little bit more relatable than the angry mobs.
Right. So, a couple of things. One is, back to that, people who say that they're part of the group but don't do what the group does.
Yep.
The only reason they're still part of the group is because you let them be part of the group.
Mm-hmm.
And so, a big way to deal with that is having group standards.
Right.
And once everybody has achieved the standard, then you up the standard so that we keep getting better and better and better and better. And people will say, well, I don't want to be part of a group that requires me to X, Y, or Z. Okay. I'm not saying you have to be a part of this group. I'm
Right.
saying that this group, we have agreed, or I have said, depending on what kind of governance you have, that this is what the standard is going to be, and everybody has X amount of time to meet X standard.
Yep.
And that will select a lot of people out right there. But the reason they are there but not participating is because you tolerate them being there without participation. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to do. It's hard to kick somebody out when you care about them.
Yeah.
We've done it.
Mm-hmm.
We've done it recently. Doesn't mean I don't love you anymore. Doesn't
Right.
mean that I won't ever see you again. It just means that this circle, this sphere of influence, you can't be a part of now.
Right.
Simple as that. Then the other thing I'll say is that we recently did some classes at the Refuge Medical Store at the HQ, and one of our sisters took a day's worth of training, Responder 1 and Responder 2. And afterwards, I went up to her and I was like, hey, are you doing all right? She goes, yeah, I'm great. I said, awesome. What did you think of the class? She was like, that was awesome. I understand now why you guys are training all the time. Like that, I get it now. Like that's that's great. No wonder you guys like drive all over the North Carolina and New Mexico and Montana and Texas and North Dakota to go train. Yeah, because it's fun and we like it. Now, no, you might be half retarded if fun is put on an 82-pound rucksack and walk around in the high mountains.
Right.
Guilty. It's
Yeah.
fun. We learning with just a little bit of pressure and accountability is fun. And so some of the people you might think that you would alienate by doing some scenario-based training, you'll actually learn, oh, there's like, they've got a whole nother facet to this person I didn't even know existed. Now, I will say you should do scenario-based training, but you have to meter your expectations. Doesn't mean the standards are different, but the person who's worked a corporate job their whole life is going to function differently than the Marine, the former Marine. And how you talk to those two people is going to be a little bit different. At least if you want to maintain rapport with them, is going to be a little bit different. How they talk to each other might not be the best case scenario because they come from two different worlds. And so it is challenging to develop training protocols that are applicable to everybody across the board, which means sometimes you end up stratifying. There's some stratification where you have the people who are more hardcore, more bought in, want to do more stuff are over here, and the people that are less hardcore, less bought in, they still want to do stuff, but they want to do less stuff, they're over here. That's fine. It's two different classes now. So, but be aware of, A, the reason that those people are still there without wanting to do these things is because you let them be there. B, you'll learn a lot about your people, period. But some of the most exciting things for me is seeing people that you didn't know had it in them. Oh, they got it in them. I love seeing that when people find the fire in their belly and their eyes get big and then your eyes get big with them and they're like, oh shit, I can do this. And it's like, yeah, you can. We've had grandmas and grandpas complete Responder 3 and PT studs quit.
Yep.
Because it's way more mental, emotional, spiritual than it is physical. The physical matters, but it's way more mental, emotional, spiritual. So that's what I would do. Make it relatable. I think there's a really good word from you. Like, they don't care about the Guatemalan immigrants. Cool. Find something they care about.
Right. And there, as far as members of my family that absolutely refuse to believe anything bad will happen because they are wealthy through their jobs. This is something we've talked about a lot. Again, I don't know if these are two separate groups or the same group or what, but family members that choose not to listen after word that you're trying to tell them, there comes a point where either you yourself decide to take responsibility for them and prepare for them, or you have to get it through your head to cut them loose.
Where I go with this, and we've touched on this in 50 different
So
videos,
many times, yeah.
But I know we got a lot of new people, and I know Patreon, it has a search bar, but it's not the best search bar.
No,
so,
it's not.
The first, okay, this person whom I love will not prep. Should I prep for them? The first question is, can you?
Yep.
If you can't, your bills aren't paid, your preps aren't squared away, you got 16 cents in the bank account, don't worry about it.
Right.
But also, it's not your problem, and it's not your problem. Oh, they make $300,000 a year at their job, but they won't prep. Okay, cool.
It's on them.
Go drink beer on their bass boat on the weekends, and then you go prep when you're not hanging out on their bass boat. Okay,
Right.
It's on them. Because here's the thing, y'all. Just because the world looks crazy, and it does, it is crazy, doesn't necessarily mean that the friggin' world's gonna end and we all gotta eat the corn out of our buckets.
Right.
Am I prepared for that? Bet your ass I am. But I still like hanging out on a bass boat too. Okay. So can you prep for those people? And if the answer is no, I absolve you of responsibility over these people. You can't.
Right.
This is spheres of influence, positions of strength. If you can, now do you want to? Not I should. We have a sister who's great at this. I should is bullshit.
Yep.
You should take care of you and the people that you love and are responsible for first. That's what you should do. Self-preservation first. We teach this, the S-March-E algorithm in class. The S is scene safety. The first priority on scene is me. Then my first priority is me. Then my next priority is me and my partner or partners, my team. Then the next priority is any bystanders standing around, who could be good people, bad people, or indifferent people. And then the casualty or casualties.
Yep.
So I got to self-preservation, me. I can't become a casualty either, right? I'm just adding to the problem. If I go save this guy's life, but I become a casualty, did that help anything? No, it didn't. So you can. Now do you want to? Not should I. Do I want to? Am I convicted to? And if the answer is yes, okay, then you do what you can do. That might be refugee buckets. That might be you put together a bug out bag for them. It might be you've made provision at your house to receive them in times of chaos without them even knowing about it. It might be because you have a network and they don't, that you talked to Billy Sue over here, and Billy Sue said, yeah, I can support 4 extra people at my place, but my house, my rules. Roger that, Billy Sue. I'll let you know if I need you. You do what you can. Simple as that. And at some point, maybe your family that doesn't listen sees the light.
Yep.
And you were actually able to preserve their life because of the efforts that you made. Or maybe at some point, we all get old and the world never ended and bass boats are cool. So I'm going to go hang out on my asshole cousin's bass boat who doesn't prep. Cool. Right? And so we've attached, the issue here is you've attached moral values to both of these things. One is a pro, the other is a con. And I know it sounds crazy coming from the guy who's got a channel built about preparedness saying, like, maybe buy a bass boat. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe if you got your freaking, do you know Yah? Are you covered by the blood of Yeshua? Do you have your food, water, shelter squared away? Can you affect security? Do you have Intel and Commo squared away? Are you networking with people? If you can check all those boxes, go on vacation.
Yep.
Go fishing. Go to the movies with your wife. Go out to dinner, because it's 2 fronts here. Yeah, but sooner or later the world will end. Maybe not during my lifetime.
Right.
And if it's not during my lifetime, and I've got a $480,000 nuclear fallout bunker 62 feet below this ground, but my wife hates my guts because we don't spend any quality time together, did I win?
Right.
I didn't win. I lost the game of life. So,
Yep.
got anything to add to that?
The last thing that I will touch on is I try to be encouraging and tell them to keep going, keep learning, and tell them if they need help with any of this, that I'm just a phone call away. But they just don't seem to care. So I see this a lot. And I hope I don't piss anybody off too bad. But we as a society tend to say, well, if you need help, just let me know.
Uh-huh.
And we absolve ourselves of
Yep.
any help because they never said anything.
Yep.
Don't do that. Be specific. Say, hey, I'm holding a canning class, or I want to do canning this weekend. Why don't you guys come? Why don't you join? Is there anything specific that you need help with? Oh, no, we got it. Well, what about this? Like, can I, because chances are you probably know a shortfall that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Set that up.
Yep.
Set up, hey, I noticed this. Like, let me come over this weekend and help you. Don't just leave it up to people to ask for help, because chances are they will never in their life ask for help.
Yep. People don't ask for help.
So, be more proactive with that if you truly do want to help them. Because yeah, if you leave it up to them, they'll never do it, and in your eyes that will be that they don't care, when in reality they might really care. They're just hella uncomfortable asking for help.
The flip side of that is if you do need help, ask somebody.
Yeah.
Don't be that person like, well, nobody ever offered to teach a canning class. I didn't know you needed help canning because you didn't communicate that. So say, hey, I'm really interested in learning more about canning, but I don't know shit from shinola when it comes to canning.
Right.
So is there anybody who can help me with that? Just the fact that you expressed interest in it is oftentimes more than enough to get somebody, at least one person, to go, I got you on that. Let's get together, let's do that. And it's like there's value judgments wrapped up in this. Like, they're going to think I'm stupid if I don't know how to can because preppers preserve food and I don't know. Hey, newsflash, we're all stupid. I know a ton of stuff. Cool. There's way more stuff I don't know. Way more stuff than I don't know than what I do know. And everything I do know how to do, I know how to do because I messed it up 1,000 times before I got it right.
Yeah.
So there's no shame in saying, hey, raise your hand, go, I don't know this stuff.
Right.
And that's, once you humble yourself, then you can learn. Simple as that.
Yep. So that's all I got. That was the last thing I saw that I wanted to touch on.
That was pretty good. It was like a $4 video.
Yeah.
Yeah, about a $4 video.
I value myself a little bit more than that.
That's true. Priceless. Video was priceless. You're all going to be back charged. All right, Patreon. Y'all have a blessed day. Shalom.